Welcome to Complete Karate.
Hi, I'm John Burke and welcome to the Complete Karate podcast, vidcast, whatever it is that you want to call it. So we're just presenting another couple of ideas, and this one always a little bit sticky because there's so much advertising out there that is presenting scarcity. And it's a very real thing that a lot of people suffer from fear of missing out, FOMO as they call it. And so something's presented as being scarce and people feel like they've got to rush out and get it. We can't say it doesn't exist, and we can't say it's always healthy, because you've seen what happened when people thought that there wasn't going to be any pasta in the shops, and suddenly the shops are empty of pasta. Toilet rolls, or whatever the subject was, that there was going to be some scarcity, without taking into account that there's a supply chain and there's more coming down the pipe. So, what's that got to do with karate? Well, sometimes things are scarce. We like to think that we'll all be here forever. We like to think that training's going to continue. We like to think that we're invulnerable, and yet, looking at what happened a couple of years ago, we suddenly saw that we couldn't get into the dojo because everyone was locked down. Well, we changed, didn't we? We made sure that there were Zoom lessons and video calls and other things just to keep people's interest, keep people moving. But there was a scarcity. And what that means also is that there are people that you could have trained with who now you're not going to get to train with. And the world did open up, so that suddenly you had the opportunity to train with, see people on camera who maybe you wouldn't have met before. But it's a very different thing to see someone on a screen than it is to get in the dojo and feel what they're on about. Whether it's a seminar or a course or just regular training. What we'd always say is, get in the dojo and feel what they're on about, see what's actually going on. On a screen there's always a certain amount that's going to be missing. What's going on below the level of the camera, what's going on to the left and the right. If someone's performing forms or teaching forms, someone's disappearing off screen while we're doing it. So what we're trying to get at here is get into the dojo to do it. But also, when you're presented with an opportunity to go on a seminar, go on a course, grab it, because you never know who's not going to be around for much longer. Now, whether that's passing away, as someone I know did very recently, or whether it's that they're leaving the country and you're not going to get to train with them again, or maybe our travel is curtailed for some reason. Whatever it is, get to it while you can get to it, because tomorrow's not guaranteed. So slightly, morbid discussion perhaps, and certainly not wanting to create that false idea of scarcity, but also recognising that when an opportunity comes up, we ought to grab it. For instance, we're going to head down to the beach and do some training. Well, maybe you can't make it and you're going to do the next one. That's great if there's a next one. Otherwise you miss out. Well, if it doesn't matter that you missed out, don't worry, it's not a great deal. But there are people that I wish I'd trained with who are no longer alive, and I should have done more to get there. And perhaps the same is true of you. So I just put it out there as a thought and as a matter of contemplation, that when we're given the opportunity, when we seek out the opportunity, when we make these things occur, through pursuit, through seeking it, wanting it, demanding it, not letting other things get in the way, then you take what's important and use it. And some people are going to say, well, the family time is important. I agree, but family time is also a matter of scarcity. So when you spend every day with someone and it's just the same thing day after day, we can sometimes become less appreciative of them. But if you have scheduled in that block of time for you to use together, then it becomes more special, more purposeful. So maybe block that time out for that and that time out for that. One of them's karate, one of them's family, one of them's job, one of them, and these things then have their place, and their enjoyment level goes up because it's just time for that. And you can't be thinking about the other while you're doing that, because that other thing already has its scheduled plot, it's time to be in. And sometimes one of them gets smaller. Sometimes you can't spend as much time wearing a gi as you'd like to. And sometimes that part needs to be bigger because you've got this opportunity to take and it won't be around forever. So you grab what you can when you can, and there is fluctuation between them, but there's also going to be times where the other activity, whatever it is, becomes the one that's got the priority. So I hope that's clear. It might come out a bit garbled, but that's the same with any conversation, I think. But I think the idea is there, and you'll have your own thoughts. My job is just to turn the spotlight on something for a brief period, and then you can revisit that as often as you like for your own thought processes, investigations and development. So that's what we've got to say for this week. Whatever you're doing, enjoy, and I'll see you in the dojo.